All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to my Core Motivate channel. Welcome to my channel, Core Motivate. Okay, there we go. I don't know why. Because it's like I have so many different introductions on how I introduce my channels and stuff, and I'm trying to like kind of keep like a pattern or thing going on. So, but yeah, I was like confuse myself in things. But nah, anyways, welcome to my channel, Core Motivate. And in today's video, no, I wanted to drop some motivation for the wrestling fans out there because it's really stupid how people get so upset about you being a wrestling fan. Like if you guys had seen not the last video where I was talking about, enjoying your younger life, but more so enjoying your older life. I did kind of mention it a little bit how there was a guy. So I posted a video on my main channel, TMossBoss, on how I wanted to get one of the championship belts. And yeah, and belts they pretty expensive. That's why I'm like I'm saving up. I might have to put it on a payment plan or something. But anyways, but no, overall though, the guy, it was like I made this video. I talked about how I wanted to get one of the championship belts. Guy comments, he's talking about grow up. And I'm thinking to myself, what's wrong with being a wrestling fan? Like to somebody that's not a wrestling fan and you have a problem with people being a wrestling fan, what's the problem with being a wrestling fan? And I feel like that question just going unanswered and I'm not getting a legitimate answer where it's like, you know what? That makes sense. If I'm not getting that answer, fam, the hatred towards wrestling fans, it has to stop at some point. Like I could think back when I was in middle school and there was this one, like, no, it was a couple of kids. The one kid, he just, I don't know, he just disappeared somewhere and stuff. But I remember there was the one kid, he always had a problem with me, like, watching or talking about wrestling. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know, I guess like with me, because I was getting ready to say like I wasn't really talkative. I was a little bit of a violent child growing up. I fought, but as I was getting older, I'm like, okay, dang, I can't, really, go into all my battles fighting and things. But yeah, I'm like, this would have been like during the elementary days and stuff. Oh yeah, it definitely would have been. I'm like, you know what? I ain't got nothing to say. I'm like, nah, it's cool, it's cool. But I wasn't watching wrestling at that time. But yeah, I was like, it's one of those things. But I was like, as I think now, I'm like, yeah, the person I am today, if I was that person back when I was in middle school, that kid, I would have had him crying 100%. Like, I always was doing that. Like, I say something, roast a kid, and have them crying because I ain't said something too crazy. And I'm like, man, I just I don't know. With that kid, it was like, it seemed like it was too easy. No, it's like, yeah, it was just one of those, like, he had like one of those like heads where it like, how like that alien from Men in Black when he pulled his face and it's like, it was like that, but without the pulling part. Like his head was just shaped like that. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have thought that when I was in middle school, because I've been like, dang, I'm like, could you like pull your face down and things? I'm like, because what you got going? What in the Men in Black is going on right now? So, but anyways, but no, it was like I tripped off of it because I was like, anytime when I'll be talking about it amongst my friends, and then he just jump up out of nowhere, and every time when he would do it, I just look at him. I'm like, you done? You finished? Cool. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. So I'm like, yeah, you go on about your business. I don't care about you. I'm like, go fix your face. I'm like, you ain't even angry, but you look angry. You look like a pug. Okay. So, but anyways, but no, it just always tripped me out. And then it's just as the years went on, it was like, I'll see videos, I'll see like just social media posts, all that stuff, and I never understood the hatred towards being a wrestling fan. I'm like, fam, I guess to explain wrestling to somebody that doesn't watch wrestling, wrestling is one of the most funnest sports out there. I just finished watching AEW Collision, and I had to say, like, man, watching these guys like literally like best friends beating each other up, and then yeah, it's like they put on a 5-star match. I'm like, man, it's one of those things to me. Like, look, I like basketball, I like football, partially like soccer, I like all sports pretty much. I'll play the sport video games, all that stuff, but I make sure I'm front and center when it comes down to watching wrestling. And that's one of the things I'm like, I don't care. I have told people I cannot hang out right now because I am watching wrestling. Like if it comes down, let's say they're having like an all-star, every match is gonna be 5 stars, WrestleMania, and then there's that one friend that's like, oh, let's hang out. I'm like, fam, come over to my house, let's watch WrestleMania. Or I could go over to your house and we could watch it there. Or we can hang out tomorrow. We could have hung out yesterday. Ain't no beef with you. I just gotta watch my wrestling, you know. So yeah, it's like it's just something that it does for me. It's a comfort show, you know. Everybody got their comfort shows, you know. You got people out there they watch their reality shows, people that watch their dating shows. Like it trips me out where it's like you see people they just pretty much get like you know like walked right everybody just walks right past them but those and I ain't trying to throw them under the bus but I'm just saying it's like there's so many different shows. I'm like one show I can think of where I'm like I feel like it's bigger than wrestling but Love Island. I Here's the thing, you can say something bad about that show. It's yeah, you better be a fast runner because if you say it amongst the people that are fans of that show, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like yeah, they you know they stand strongly behind that show. Wrestling fans, on the other hand, it's like you know you get those people who are like, oh, wrestling is fake and stuff, and it's like okay, if you feel that way, you feel. I feel like wrestling fans, we don't care if people don't like wrestling, but like it bothers me because I'm like there ain't even no reason to hate wrestling or anything surrounding wrestling. But yeah, it's like, you know, you get people out there where it's like they just want to have some sort of beef. And so I'm just confused because I'm like, why? But the thing is this, though, talking to a wrestling fan, and it's like, okay, well, I have these people in my ear telling me it's bad. I have everybody around me saying it's bad. There's nothing wrong with watching wrestling. If you want to watch wrestling, watch wrestling. I've been watching wrestling since 2007. 19 years. To me, I'm like, that's crazy. That is crazy to think, like, you know, I was a kid believing that this stuff was real to now being an adult and realizing that it's like this ain't no different than going to your 9 to 5 job. Like these are people doing a job, but it's like they have you convinced that this stuff is real. Like, oh, Randy Orton really has a problem with Cody Rhodes. But in reality, these guys are the best of friends. They be wishing each other a happy birthday, giving each other gifts, like doing any and everything that they possibly can to like, hey, we got to embrace our friendship. But when we get on this TV, hit me with a steel chair, throw me through a table, slam me against the ring post, do any and everything that you can, take that cushioning part off of the turnbuckle and hit my head across it, you know, do any and everything that you can to convince those fans that we hate each other. But hey, they're like they dap each other up, they were all like, but when we come back here we gonna hug it out, we gonna be the best of friends, unless if them wrestlers got real beef with each other, then I'm like yeah, they probably ain't gonna have. Well, then again, I'm like Vince McMahon, he did have Matt Hardy and Edge working together, and I think well, I think Matt Hardy hated Edge. I think Edge was just, you know, wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, that was a crazy situation. I'm telling you, like that's something that a person that's not a wrestling fan, what they need to understand. There is so many different stories in wrestling where it's like I at times like I'll hear stories for the first time, and I'm like, wow. Like I'm telling you, wrestling is one of the most interesting sports out there. There ain't no reason to be hating on it, none whatsoever. If you can't find a legitimate reason to hate on it, if it's like, oh, you're too old to be watching wrestling, that don't mean nothing. There be people out there. So okay, my thing is this, right? So there's that wrestler that has a 60-year-old dad and an 80-year-old grandmother that's sitting in the crowd watching them. What's different? What makes that okay? And I feel like people are like, oh, well, that's their family. They have to. But it's like the thing. They're still an adult. They're older than me. So that's why I'm like, fam, wrestling is for everybody. It ain't, oh, it's just for the kids. If that's the case, the majority of the audience wouldn't even be there. Like when you at times when you look in the crowd, you see more adults than kids. So that's why I'm like, fam, I'm not hearing that stuff where it's like, oh, in my me being 30, I can't watch wrestling no more because it's a kids show. It ain't no if that show ain't coming on PBS, then yeah, I'm like it's a show for everybody, okay? But it's like yeah, Cartoon Networks during the day, what else? Nickelodeon during the day. If it ain't coming on them channels, I'm like if it's on USA, TBS, TNT, Netflix, HBO, Hulu, whatever. I'm like, I'm watching it. Okay, so yeah, that's why I'm like, fam, I ain't gonna stop watching wrestling because it's like it's a. I guess then yeah, call me a child, call me a man child, because I'm gonna be watching. The thing is this. It is probably like when I'm old on my hospital bed and yeah let's just say it's a Monday night and then yeah my family they surrounding me and they're all like oh we know it's this time. I'm like hey turn on Monday Night Raw. I'm like it's like it's one of those things where I'm like I know I'm gonna leave this world. I'm like, let me watch Raw one last time, you know. But I'm like, I'm gonna be watching wrestling for the rest of my life, pretty much, you know. So, and it's kind of depressing to, you know, the thing, like more so the old, like being like older and stuff, and then, you know, saying that and stuff. But that's the reality. I'm like, fam, I've been watching it all these years. Why stop now? So, but anyways, yeah, with that being said, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and peace.